Okay, so I just started coming to Milligan back in 2012. I was still living in Tallahassee at the time. Made a few visits around the Christmas break, and so as I left Tallahassee, completed my first 2 years of college there, I started attending Milligan Assembly. I was already 20 years old, but I felt an urge to attend youth camp. In the week or 2 weeks prior to youth camp, I asked Pastor Jesse if he would let me come on, and he obliged, and he brought me on as an intern, and I was to help Sister Amanda with the activities and games for the week. And it was an amazing experience. I'd never been to youth camp. One of the churches that I grew up in, I was the only teenager, and in fact, I was the only person in the ages of between 6 and probably close to 30. So there was no youth at all. So this was my first experience at a youth camp, and it was an incredible experience. The week just kept building up and building up and building up, and I remember Thursday, when me and Brother Seth, we went over there and talked to Pastor Jesse, as there was already folks laying in this little field outside the sanctuary. And after a quick conversation with Pastor Jesse, I went out and I laid out in the field, and I just began to seek and call on God. And in that moment, Sister Jill came out and she started praying over me. And as she was praying over me, I was filled with the Holy Ghost for the very first time. And during the middle of all that going on, she paused and she told me what God spoke to her. And that was, as she was praying, God told her to look up. And as she looked up, the cross that illuminates at night, and it was across the lake, was right above my head. And she said God told her that I was marked. So as she told me this, I fell back down on the ground and started and continued to speak in tongues. And that was a turning point for my life. So if I have anything to say to any of the youth that are attending this year, and even the youth leaders, you're never too old. Like I said, I was 20 years old attending this. And even though I wasn't youth, I was an intern, and I was still young. And I was blessed beyond measure during that experience and during that youth camp. And for those that are going to be attending this year, get ready, because this may be your moment.